There we go. Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Cooking with David. Today we're going to make smoked sausage and pasta. So in my pan already, I went ahead and heated up this pan, put a little oil in it, I chopped up an onion, and I've got it in there with a half a pound of mushrooms. And we're just going to cook this up until the mushrooms release their liquid. And then after that we're going to put some other things in. The other ingredients we use is it's a very simple recipe. I have 2 tomatoes here that I'm going to dice up. You can use canned tomatoes, I've used those. Works out great. I've got some pasta, and you can use any kind of pasta. Just happen to have this. I'm going to use about a half a box of this. And then of course the star of the dish is the smoked sausage, and I like to keep things ethnic, so I went with the Polska kielbasa. And over here I've got a half a cup of heavy cream because it's so heavy. And then I've got 2 cups of chicken broth that we're going to put in there too. And then of course salt and pepper and a little oregano. Gotta have some oregano. I can tell you a story about oregano, but I'll save that for another time. And then of course, whenever you're cooking, salute, you gotta have some wine. Now that's a really good wine. So while this is cooking, I'm going to put it on pause, come back and we'll... Pause when we... Okay, so we're back. So now that the mushrooms have released their liquid, the onions are becoming a little translucent. So I'm going to go ahead and put in my garlic and my 3 cloves of garlic. And while we were gone, I went ahead and cut up the smoked sausage here, so into little bite-sized little sausages. So we're going to put them in there, and we're going to cook this until the sausages are browned. And it doesn't really take too long. The longest part is cooking the pasta. So we're just going to put these in here, and we're going to cook these for about 3-4 minutes or so until they're browned, and then we're going to go from there. So in the meantime, I'm going to pause again. So I'm doing a lot of pausing these days. So I've taken the time to pause and see what's happening here. Just a second. I don't like to use the touchpad. I'm more of a mouse guy. Okay, so that's been cooking up for a while. I went ahead and took about a half a box of that pasta, and I rinsed it off. You don't have to rinse it off, but if you want to, that's fine. You could speed this up a little bit by cooking the pasta first. But it cooks, it cooks right up in the pan, so you don't really have to do that. So we go ahead and put that in there, and now we want to cook this for a while. So this is going to take a little while. This is the longest part of the process. Either way, it's probably going to take about the same amount of time. But if you wanted to cook it up, I suppose, while you were doing these other steps, you certainly could do that. So I'm going to put a lid on it. Maybe that'll help it a little bit. But we'll let this go for probably about 5-6 minutes and see where it's at, and then we can add the other ingredients. So it doesn't take long. Okay, so this has been cooking for a little while. It's still a little crunchy, but that's okay. I'm going to go ahead and put the tomatoes in. I diced up 2 whole tomatoes. You can use canned tomatoes, that's fine. I just happen to have a couple of fresh tomatoes in the refrigerator, so I've used them both ways, so it doesn't really matter. So we're going to put these in here, get rid of this, and just kind of mix it up in here. And now we're going to add a half a cup of heavy cream. and 2 cups of chicken broth, stock or whatever you have. So we're going to put that in there. And because we're using chicken broth, we don't need a whole lot of salt. So I used a half teaspoon of salt and a quarter pepper and a half of oregano. And I've got that here, and we're just going to go ahead and put that in there. And we're going to mix all that up and kind of deglaze the bottom of the pan with the liquid. It's going to work out pretty well. And now we need to cook the rest of the pasta. So we want it to be done. So here we go. And now the only thing left to do is put it down to a simmer, cover it up again, and wait until the pasta's done. Walla bing, walla bang. There you go. You got it. So if you'd like to see the finished product, I'll put it on pause, I guess, and we'll give it a little bit here and see. Oh yeah, I almost forgot. After the pasta's done, add cheese. You always got to have cheese, especially if you're drinking wine. If you're drinking wine, you always got to have cheese, believe me. Goes really good together. And that's a good wine. Okay, so I'll come back and we'll see what's happening here. And here we go. Voila, the final product. And it's kind of hot right now, but I'm going to try to take a bite. So get some of these mushrooms, get a little bit of the pasta. And that creamy sauce, it's so good. This is really good. It's kind of hot, but it's really, really good. So this is another episode of Cooking with David. And I would just like to say in conclusion that it's important that we tell the people that we love them. And so I want to encourage everyone, if there's someone out there that you have been exchanged from, I can't even say the word. If there's someone out there that you haven't spoken to for a long time and you love them and they love you, don't wait till it's too late. Love one another. Just that's going to be my message from here on out. Just love one another. So that's all I've got to say. This has been another episode of Cooking with David, and I hope to see you next time. Bye.